Alright guys, it's the Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy. This is another one of these unlicensed games published by Camerica and developed by Codemasters. You guys remember I picked up the Quattro Adventure, and it had Treasure Island Dizzy on it, and I was talking about how it wasn't as good as the Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy. This is a really awesome game, actually. It's really surprising how wicked this game is. I don't understand why it wasn't licensed. This could have easily have been licensed and probably would have sold better and ultimately made them more money, but they never went for the license, and instead they did this kind of under the table stuff. We've seen this before in the Quattro Adventure. This actually has a chip in it that stuns the 10 NES lockout chip. Because these games aren't licensed, they don't have the official Nintendo chip in there to bypass the lockout chip in the NES. So they found their own little way to get around that. And once again, keep that in position A. As it says here, only use position B if it doesn't work in position A. So there's some weird circuit in there that stuns that 10 NES chip and gets by the copy protection inside the NES. Anyways, let's check out this game, because, like I said, this is a pretty awesome game for the NES. Alright, this is the Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy. This game came out in 1991. In Europe, this game is just called Fantastic Dizzy. It's not called the Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy. This game was actually supposed to come out in 1990, for Christmas of 1990 actually. But the game got pushed back because there was a lawsuit between Codemasters and Nintendo over the Game Genie, so that kind of set them back. This game didn't actually come out until April of 1991. Now this game was ported to pretty much all the major systems at the time: Sega Mega Drive, the Master System, the Game Gear, NES, Amiga, DOS, and I believe Atari ST. And despite being an unlicensed game for the NES, it actually won quite a bit of awards, including NES Adventure Game of the Year 1991 by Game Players magazine. So you think maybe that the magazines at the time wouldn't have gotten involved with this game, seeing as it's not licensed, but it still won some awards. This is an amazing game. It didn't sell a lot of copies. Once again, maybe distribution problems with the fact it wasn't licensed. Maybe some stores wouldn't carry it. Maybe some magazines wouldn't review it. I don't know, but this game, it is pretty rare. I mean, it only sold about 125,000 units. They were expecting to sell 500,000. And, honestly, for an NES game, this is up there. This is a really, really good game. Here we have a puzzle. There's a lot of random puzzles and random little things in this game that kind of take you away from the main game for a minute. And this is one of these little classic puzzles where you just shuffle the pieces around to line up the picture. And if you do that, you get an extra life. So this is just a little extra bonus game that's stuck in there. See, I can figure it out in the time. I got the time limit, obviously, counting down there on the right. And looks like I did it, so I got an extra life. Now, like I said, this was Adventure Game of the Year. This is an adventure game. As you can see in the bottom of the screen, you can hold 3 items. You pick up different items throughout the game, and you got to figure out where to use them. Now here, for example, I've got looks like a turkey or something, and this rhinoceros won't leave me alone. So, use the turkey here, and you can get past this section. Don't remember to pick up the stuff you drop. It's kind of awkward the way you pick up the items. You can pick up and drop an item with the same button, and the order that you pick them up in is the order that you drop them in. So sometimes you have to drop an item you don't want to drop the next item after that. That's the only kind of weird thing that maybe could have changed, but I mean, you just got to remember that you may sometimes drop things, and you can only carry 3 things at a time. You pick up these stars as you go out through the game. There's one problem with the game is they are pushing the NES, I think, technically, and a lot of sprites on the screen. Sometimes there's times in the game where sprites will disappear, so you might almost walk right past an item and not see it. So just be aware of that. Like I said in the Treasure Island Dizzy, it doesn't scroll. I show you this, by the way. You can press select. It'll show you what your items are, give you a little description. And that said that was like weed killer, and well, there's this weed, a man-eating plant thing there that comes down and gets you, and you can't get past it, so you use the weed killer on it. So yeah, you can press select at any given time to get a description of what your items are. Sometimes they're hard to tell what they are by the little pictures, so hitting select you can see you have, the door for Denzel's house, or a rope, or you'll get a description of whatever it is, and that might help you figure out where to use it. So anyways, like I was saying, in the Treasure Island Dizzy there was no scrolling, which was kind of lame. Like, you just walked off the screen and it snapped to the next screen, and you walked off that screen and it snapped to the next screen. This one scrolls, and it's much faster to play it like that. It's much nicer to play it like that. So I don't know, I think this game is much better. I've never seen this game on the Mega Drive, but I would have to imagine the graphics are improved. But here, I mean, look at the graphics here. You have to admit, for an NES game, this is up there. This really is up there in the top tier of games that, for the NES technically. And like I said, it's amazing that this game wasn't licensed, because if this game was licensed, I think it would have got more advertising by Nintendo, or by like Nintendo Power, for example. That's maybe one reason that this game didn't sell so much, is that I just thought of this now, is this would not have been in Nintendo Power. And you gotta remember, back then there was no internet. Games weren't really, there was the odd commercial, usually it was for a major game like Zelda or something. Your kind of average games didn't see much TV commercials on. And pretty much if you were into Nintendo, like most of us were back then in America, and most of us had Nintendo Power Magazine. I know I had a subscription to Nintendo Power Magazine, and most of my friends in grade school, if they had Nintendo or Super Nintendo, they also had a subscription to Nintendo Power Magazine, and this would not have been seen in that magazine. So that would definitely kill the sales. But anyways, I'm running out of time. I'm going to leave it off here. Amazing game, definitely a must-have, especially if you like adventure games.